Hello and welcome to some basic Catan gameplay, Catanians. So in this game, I made a big mistake by making myself highly targetable. And what I mean by that is, as you see, my 8 wheat just gets shut down. And I'm building up early in the game, right? So I have my 2 cities, and those were actually my 2 starting settlement placements. And if you look at my numbers, I have 2 8s and 2 4s on the board. So ideally, you look at my 4s and you see, oh, brick and wood off of a 4 roll. That right now with 2 cities, that's 2 roads every time a 4 is rolled. That if I'm looking at that from an opponent player's perspective, I'm like, wow, that's got to be shut down because that player could just start building roads all over the board every time a 4 is rolled, if 4s were a hot number this game, which unfortunately they were not so hot because I would have a lot more roads out on the board at this point. Now you look at my other hot number, 8, I almost get a city off of an 8 roll. Now, what's kind of not so good is I already have both of my settlements upgraded to cities. So I need to now, instead of building up, I now need to build out. But because I'm built on an 8 stone with the city and on an 8 wheat with the city, people are going to want to shut that down. That, and then the only other number worth shutting down this board is going to be that 6 wood, because 6 obviously gets rolled a lot, and purple would be getting 3 wood off of 6, as I just benefit greatly from that 8 roll. I get 2 more stone, 2 more wheat. I now have a bundle of wheat, and I can build myself another city, but first I got to get another settlement on the board in order to upgrade that into a city. And purple's trying to make some hot trades. I wish I was in the position to accept brick, because I would do so. Not give away brick, but accept brick. It would be very, very beneficial for me instead of trading it in at a 4-for-1 rate, because at this point I don't have a port. I do have 8 wheat, which I can change into 2 brick. But thankfully I don't roll a 7. I'm very surprised, having more than 7 cards. So I change it in for a brick. Now I have the 3-for-1 port. But I'm still kind of shooting myself in the foot, because I then upgrade that settlement into a city on the same turn, which tells all the other players, as my screen turns upside down for some reason. I guess I was holding my phone a little wonky, but which tells all the other players that I'm feeling kind of cocky this game, and I'm just going to go ahead and upgrade a settlement into a city on the same turn. And now you look at that 8 wheat, and that's all anybody wants to shut down, except for me and purple, of course, being built on it. Just, that is the most resource plentiful, highest producing hex on the board at this point. The 6 wood is, I would say, second behind it, producing 4 cards every time that hex is hit on. So it's not... It's good for me whenever an 8's rolled, but it's bad because it's probably going to get shut down quite a bit. And with that being shut down, there goes all my wheat production completely. So you have to build out as well as build up. You have to give 50% to building out and the other 50% of your efforts to building up. But yes, I get it. Sometimes it's convenient if you have the cards just, stone and wheat coming in to just keep building up. But building out is also very important, because you see here, I should have gone down to that 5 stone on the left side of your screen to have another number in terms of diversity of numbers, because right now I'm sitting on 3, 4, 8, and 10. I only have 4 different numbers on the entire board. Now we look at purple, who's doing pretty good. They don't have that much diversity of numbers, but they're not getting shut down a lot, except for that 6 wood. Primarily just that. Their stone and their wheat and their sheep is pretty much getting left alone, except for when they shut down the 8, of course, the 8 wheat. So they're free to build development cards and cities pretty much to their liking. And they just built the road up to grab the wheat port. Even though it's on a bad number on the 11 sheep desert hex, it's still a wheat port, and they have a wheat coming in from an 8 and a 10. So that's very smart on their part. And this was not the Harbor Master scenario, just to point that out. They're just going for a port to enhance their gameplay. And then we come on over to blue. Blue has a 2 and a 12, actually. So a 2, 5, 6, 9, 11, 12. So a little bit more number diversity than me, but still just kind of pretty decent. And there you go, my 4 brick gets shut down because they're thinking we don't want green to get 2 roads off of a 4 roll, which, as you can see, I have 2 roads in my hand. So that would be 4 roads, and that would just be... I'd take longest road. That's honestly what I would do with that, as red takes it. And I would just run away with longest road. I would try to. And I would build down to that 5 stone, and then maybe even the brick port if I could swing around to it because of my 4 brick. And then lastly, we come to red. Now red, I think, play this game very well. And if I would have played my game a little differently as the 8 wheat gets shut down, because everybody wants to shut it down. So red has got 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Red has very good number diversity, and red has very good numbers in general. If you're built on 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, the 6 most probable rolled numbers in the game, you have a very high chance of doing very well in the game, and especially later in the game. Plus, look at their resource diversity. They're built on every single resource pretty decently. They have 2 wheat hexes. They only have 1 brick hex, but they have a 3-for-1 port. They have 2 wood hexes, 2 sheep hexes, and a stone hex. And even though the stone hex, they're only built on 1 of them, it's an 8. So that is very good. And same with the 5 brick. It's only 1 brick, but it's a 5, and they have a city on it. So just looking at their setup, I'm pretty envious of that, because I don't have the number diversity. I am built on every resource, but it's just not doing well for me because I'm getting shut down so much. So now I choose to build a settlement on the 4 brick 11 sheep, and I mean it's another victory point, but looking back, it's just not the wisest choice, because now I see red coming over into my territory, and they want to build on that 8 stone, but I'm wondering if they manage to get 2 brick and 2 wood in their hands, or a road building card. I wonder if they're going to cut me off to get to that 10 sheep with the 3-for-1 spot. They don't really need that spot because they already have a 3-for-1 port and they're already on a 6 sheep. But maybe they want to connect up their roads to that city with a road sticking off of it to completely seal the deal for them taking longest road. Because I'm not really in contention for it. I have a 4-length road at the top left of your screen. Purple has a 2-length road. They're not really worried about taking longest road. So the only other player that red has to be worried about is blue, because blue currently has a 5-length road. And there's a nice little open area in the board that hasn't really been touched by anybody, with the 9 wheat, 10 wheat, 11 sheep. And here we go. Blue starts building. He builds 2 roads, and now he's right in that sweet spot in the middle of the board. He could build on either of those 2 places. And he currently holds longest road. So taking 2 victory points away from red to prolong the game was a very wise move on his choice. Now it's back to me. What am I going to roll? Probably not one of my numbers, because I just don't have that many. I really should have, instead of going for the 4 brick, 11 sheep, I should have gone down to the 5 stone. So a 9 is rolled. I get nothing. A lot of people get wheat off that. Now red plays their second knight. So not only are they battling it out for longest road, they seem to be a shoo-in for largest army. So that's 4 victory points on their side that they're possibly dealing with. And they're already at 5 victory points just off their city and 3 settlements on the board. So you add in the longest road, largest army, that boosts them up to 9. And they draw a victory point card, this game is done. So looking back, and there we go, I'm about to get cut off. And that kind of seals the deal, kind of writes the ending for this game for me. I should have built out sooner before building up. I still think that it was a wise choice to build the settlement on the 3-for-1 port on the 8 wheat. I just wish I didn't immediately upgrade to a city. Instead chose to either maybe buy a development card to try to get road building, or just trade in the cards that I had at that moment to try to build more roads and build out, because it just made my 8 wheat want to be shut down by the other 2 players who weren't built on it, which I totally get, by the way. And I already had 2 cities at that point, so I wasn't hurting for resources coming in. In blue, I like what blue did. They went ahead and threw another settlement on the board, but I think instead of that, they should have tried to take longest road, because at this point, so late in the game, anyone could just swipe the win really soon. So maybe they only had 1 road to build, but they should have tried to trade, with the other players who weren't vying for longest road. I would have gladly traded my brick if that would have helped them out, just to barely take it away from red. But unfortunately, red is going to take this game just by using... They had another development card up their sleeve. Turns out they had Year of Plenty, so they will use that and then build 2 settlements on a single turn to win the game. So in short, follow red's strategy this game. Don't follow mine. They're kind of flying under the radar. They did take longest road, which put them on the radar, but other than that, they kind of played a low-key game by building on good numbers, good resources in terms of diversity, and just kind of getting themselves set up for the second half of the game to really get on the radar, but take over the game. So I think that's a really good way to play. So thanks for watching, and maybe I'll learn a thing or two next time. See ya.